Cram them full of non-combustible data, chock them so damned full of facts they feel stuffed, but absolutely brilliant with information. Then they'll feel they're thinking, they'll get a sense of motion without moving, and they'll be happy. Because facts of that sort don't change. Don't give them any slippery stuff like philosophy or sociology to tie things up with. That way lies melancholy. Any man who can take a TV wall apart and put it back together again, and most men can nowadays, is happier than any man who tries to slide, rule, measure, and equate the universe, which just won't be measured or equated without making man feel bestial and lonely. I know, I've tried it. To hell with it. So bring on your clubs and parties, your acrobats and magicians, your daredevils, jet cars, motorcycle helicopters, your sex and heroin, more of everything to do with automatic reflex. If the drama is bad, if the film says nothing, if the play is hollow, sting me with the theremin loudly. I'll think I'm responding to the play when it's only a tactile reaction to vibration. But I don't care. I just like solid entertainment. War is peace. Freedom is slavery. Ignorance is strength. Chapter 1. Ignorance is strength. Throughout recorded time, and probably since the end of the Neolithic age, there have been three kinds of people in the world: the high, the middle, and the low. They have been subdivided in many ways. They have borne countless different names, and their relative numbers, as well as their attitude toward one another, have varied from age to age. But the essential structure of society has never altered. Even after enormous upheavals and seemingly irrevocable changes, the same pattern has always reasserted itself. Just in case I seem like another disgruntled wage slave, don't get the idea that I don't actually like landscaping. Maybe it doesn't pay a fortune, but I'm outside in the fresh air 8 hours a day, seeing the immediate results of my labor. There's a lot of satisfaction in that. Think about it. Why else would all those old fogies who retire do nothing but work in their gardens all day long? I'd way rather mow your lawn, or deadhead your roadies, or even mulch your flower beds than do your taxes or make your sandwich. At least with grass, you get the last word, not like a sandwich where somebody eats it. And what's more beautiful than a great green field of new mown grass? What's more pleasing than a tidy edge or the clean lines of scrupulously pruned boxwood? I'm not going to get all nuanced about the art of landscaping or start in with any of the navel-gazing philosophical crap like they do in books. It's not a metaphor for human condition. It's a fucking yard. That's not the real problem, though. The real problem is Duke, the McClure's 200-pound St. Bernard, who takes elephant-sized dumps everywhere, and I mean everywhere, on the gravel footpath, in the beds lining the walkway, and yes, on the deck. And guess who the McClures expect to pick up all those turds? I'll give you a hint. Not Hillary Clinton. It was dumping rain by the time I got there. As usual, there were lawn cigars everywhere. The fucking dog had managed to shit in a pot of nasturtiums 3 feet off the ground. I couldn't even get my brain around it. As always, the McClures were thoughtful enough to set out a little fireplace shovel on the deck for me. And let me tell you, the instrument is sorely deficient for the task. First, I tried the spatula method, but no matter how firm they looked, the turds were too soft in the middle, like one of those lava cakes. To make matters worse, the only bag I had was paper. And meanwhile, the rain was running a rivulet down the crack of my ass, and the stink of Duke's ass goblins was damn near unbearable. After about 6 waterlogged turds, the paper bag ruptured. In spite of my desperate attempt to stop the breach with my bare hands, the whole mess hit my boots like a rotten pumpkin. Seething, I glared up at the pitless gray sky for a second before I lost it completely. "Goddamn fucking cunt fuck shit ass fucker," I yelled. I flailed and stomped my boot in disgust as a dollop of shit hit the sliding glass door like refried beans. In a blind rage, I kicked the ruptured bag of shit across the deck, then marched down the steps to the lawn where I began dragging my boot and wiping my hands in the wet grass. Shit fucking mother fuck. I must have gotten old Duke's attention because he'd lumbered to his feet and was standing there behind the glass, gazing out impassively, both eyes milky with cataracts. "Fuck you," I said. But that Duke did not bat an eye. He just laid back down with his big square head on his paws, let out a sigh, and closed his eyes. This was the final indignity. The Micklers' fucking dog had a better life than me. Finally, in the summer between 5th and 6th grade, I had a breakthrough. One night, I snuck the book and a flashlight into my bed. I vowed not to sleep until I figured out what happened next. By morning, something magical had happened. I had become a reader. This seed put out many leaves, but I didn't have the language to identify the plant. In high school, I began to theorize that I had been born with two half-souls, one female and one male. After 9th grade, I decided to keep a list of all the books I read over the summer. I included the 2 books I read for school and all the ones I read just for myself. By the end of the summer, my list had 68 titles read in 82 days. I was so pleased, I decided to maintain the list indefinitely. And because they had mass, they became simpler, said Beatty. Once books appealed to a few people here, there, everywhere, they could afford to be different. The world was roomy, but then the world got full of eyes and elbows and mouths, double, triple, quadruple population, films and radios, magazines, books leveled down to sort of past pudding norm. Do you follow me? I think so. Beatty peered at the smoke pattern he had put out on the air. Picture it, 19th century man with his horses, dogs, carts, slow motion. Then in the 20th century, speed up your camera, books cut shorter, condensations, digests, tabloids. Everything boils down to the gag, the snap ending. Snap ending, Mildred nodded. Classics cut to fit 15-minute radio shows, then cut again to fill a 2-minute book column, winding up at last as a 10 or 12-line dictionary resume. I exaggerate, of course. The dictionaries were for reference, but many were those whose sole knowledge, as I say, of Hamlet was a 1-page digest in a book that claimed, "Now at last you can read all the classics. Keep up with your neighbors." Do you see? Out of the nursery into the college and back to the nursery. There's your intellectual pattern for the past 5 centuries or more. Everyone must leave something behind when he dies. A child or a book or a painting or a garden planted, something your hand touched some way so your soul has somewhere to go when you die. And when people look at that tree or that flower you planted, you're there.